geneticist Aubrey de Grey, who is leading the charge of the utmost longevity studies for the extension of human aging and health and stuff, has come out and said that the first human to live to 1,000 years old is alive today. So, my fellow Toastmasters, Toastmasters and guests, if you could choose how long you wanted to live, how long would you like to live? 100 years? 200 years? 1,000 years? Maybe even more? I know that this may come as a very uncomfortable thing to talk about life and death and cheating death. But tonight, you will learn why ending aging is actually a very good thing, and why you should be spearheading this project with the rest of us. Now, you may be thinking, aging is a very natural thing that just happens. The whole cycle has been, you grow up, you die, you get old, and then eventually you die, and the cycle repeats. But the reality is, aging is actually not a biological issue, it's a physical issue. Imagine your body as a machine, like a car. Just like a car, it has parts, and eventually, through many different forces, that physical properties of rubbing and grinding, things break down. And death is essentially when one or more major systems or parts of us breaks, we eventually end up being taken over by disease or stop working. There is actually no such thing as dying of old age. It actually is just the end of the physical process. The problem is there's an ancient Greek myth called the myth of Tithonus. Zeus's daughter Eos fell in love with a Greek prince named Tithonus. And this Tithonus person must have been a very awesome person, because Eos begged Zeus to grant him eternal life. And after a bunch of negotiation, Zeus decided to grant Tithonus eternal life. But as the years went on, Eos started to notice that Tithonus' skin started to wrinkle. He started to shrink in stature, and he started to get really old. And she realized that she had asked Zeus to give him eternal life, but not eternal youth. So eventually, he ended up being reduced down to a tiny grape, speaking till the end of time, eternally alive, but essentially physically dead. Which brings it's funny that a lot of people, we celebrate aging and the possibility of getting old. In fact, as someone who's still in their mid-20s, I've actually enjoyed the process of getting older. I think getting older is actually one of the best things in life. If you get to learn more, you become more wiser. We have birthdays to celebrate youth. But it's funny because we all want to get older, but none of us want to be old. And a lot of people have the misconception thinking that, if I live, a lot of people want to be older, but they don't want all the baggage of being old. So if you could live for a long time, but still maintain that youth for a long time, it wouldn't be such a bad deal. Now, you may be thinking that at some point, I think I would want to die. You might want to die at some point. The idea of living forever doesn't seem like a very appealing idea, and that living for such a long time wouldn't be good. But you have to understand that ending aging isn't essentially getting rid of death. It's just life extension. Who in here exercises or tries to eat healthy? You essentially are already trying to fight death. Any attempt for you to take medication, go to the doctor for a checkup. If you had a tumor or you had cancer, you would want to get that treated. That essentially is life extension. It is the essence of modern medicine. And you said you exercise, right, John? Why do you exercise?
Look at me.
Yeah. Because it makes you want to be healthy, right? And why do you want to be healthy?
Actually, I do that a lot for mental. It gives me a good attitude. Nothing to do with the
Well, it has to do with you want to feel young still in your old. Yes. So everything that we do, everything that you do is has to do with wanting to extend more years that you have in your life. So there's not really that unnatural for life extension. We progress modern medicine for the sole purpose of extending our lives. So if you want to participate in this life extension thing, just choose to live. Keep doing what you're doing. Continue to eat healthy, to exercise, do all the healthy habits, or even better yet, donate to charities that benefit modern medicine. Donate to the SENS Institute that is extending life. Dying, essentially, if you think about it, dying is overrated. If you think if it's such a great natural thing, imagine if you had a child, or you had family members from a young age. Why would you want to condemn them to eventually growing up, to eventually become wrinkled and be in pain and eventually die of some horrible disease or on some deathbed at some point? That we would never condemn someone to that. And imagine how different you would live your life if you had an extra 200 years or 300 years or even just 50 years. Imagine if you could work, you are capable of working for an extra 150 years. How would that affect your relationships? Imagine how we would treat the planet if we knew we had to be around for those next 300 years. Imagine how many careers you could have in one life, what you would dedicate your time to. Perhaps that anxiety that you have of time constantly running out, of you trying to fight against the clock, trying to accomplish everything might go away. Or how much time you would dedicate to doing things that actually engage your interest or towards education. So, even if you feel that you might want to die someday, don't think of it as as ending death, but think of it as like when you were a kid on a summer evening, back when you were like 6 years old, and your parents called you in to go to bed, but you just wanted to continue playing because you were having so much fun. You didn't want to stay out forever. You just wanted to, just play a little bit longer, just until you were tired. Thank you.